When Rebecca got to the front door of the house, she realized that she had to turn the rusty handle with all her might to enter. Upon entering, Rebecca took a few minutes to let her eyes adjust to the darkness. Moonlight shone through a window halfway up a stairway that was right in front of her. The moonlight casted shadows and illuminated the cobwebs attached to the spindles of the staircase. As Rebecca's eyes adjusted, she could see that she was in the main hall of the house. Either side of the stairway were paintings hanging on the wall. Rebecca decided to look at the paintings on the right of the stairway, and saw there was a man wearing a bright red robe with a white collar. He had a white moustache with matching eyebrows and bald head. Rebecca saw that the man had a baby in his arms. As she gazed into the eyes of the man in the painting, she felt uncomfortable and decided to look at the other painting. In the second painting, Rebecca saw the same man from the first, only this time he had a girl aged between 14 and 15 next to him. Rebecca looked at the girl curiously. She recognized the girl, but told herself it was not who she thought it was. Suddenly, Rebecca heard noises coming from inside and outside the house. There was a tapping and cruel, evil laughter. Thinking it was Gaz, Dylan, and Samantha outside trying to scare her, she ignores it, unaware that all three of them are nowhere near the house. This is because they are all petrified of going into the house. They never told anyone this because they didn't want to ruin their self-built reputation. Rebecca then saw there was an alcove next to the stairway, separating the main hall from the dining room, which she enters. Rebecca could hear the sound of clinking noises as she entered, and could see that there was a long curved rectangle table in the center of the room with 10 chairs around it, 4 either side and 1 at each end of the table. She also saw hanging from the ceiling above the center of the table a crystal chandelier. Crystal drops were hanging from the main centerpiece. Behind the head of the table was a fireplace, which looked like it hadn't been used in years, and above the fireplace was a huge mirror reflecting the chandelier. Rebecca looked at the chandelier in the mirror and saw that it was moving ever so slightly. She then looked at the chandelier above the table, and to her astonishment, the chandelier was hanging perfectly still. She looked again at the chandelier's reflection and saw that it was moving again. She noticed in the reflection the crystal drops were colliding, creating the clinking sounds. Rebecca then quickly turned her head to the chandelier above the table and could still hear the clinking noises, but could see crystal clear the chandelier was not moving. This made Rebecca feel a bit nervous. She took another deep breath to calm herself and decided to explore upstairs. With each step creaking beneath her feet, Rebecca slowly made her way to the top of the stairs, thinking to herself what she might find. As she got to the top of the stairs, Rebecca saw there was a door right in front of her that was ajar. Out of curiosity, she entered and found the master bedroom of the house. On the far right of the room was a window, and directly underneath it was a king-size bed. On each side of the bed, up against the wall, were bookcases filled from top to bottom with books. Rebecca then decided to leave the room, but then she spotted something that made her scream with fright. A huge painting on the wall opposite the window, and in the painting was the same man in the other paintings, and standing next to him was Rebecca. She took a good look at the paintings, trying to convince herself it wasn't her, but she knew it was. Then she remembered the paintings downstairs. The baby in one painting, the young girl in the other. They were both Rebecca when she was younger. She screamed and decided to leave the house. Rebecca ran downstairs to the front door when suddenly she heard her name being called. Rebecca stopped and turned. She heard her name being called again, and realized that the voice was taking up the whole of the house, making it impossible for her to locate. Rebecca listened carefully, trying to find out where and who the voice was coming from. All of a sudden, there was a clap of thunder and a flash of lightning, which made Rebecca jump in fright and curiosity, because the lightning had revealed a door in a dark corner of the house. Rebecca walked over and saw that there was light coming from the bottom of the door. She heard her name being called again, this time followed by laughter. Curious to see what was inside, Rebecca entered, unaware that she would never come out. 1 hour passes, and Gaz, Dylan, and Samantha are impressed that Rebecca has completed the challenge, but start to get worried when she doesn't come out.
Where is she?
It's been an hour, and she hasn't come out yet.
Something's wrong. We're going to have to go in and get her.
What? Are you mad? I'm not going in there.
Me neither.
Look, we have to go in and find her. Otherwise, people will wonder where she is, and then they'll hold us responsible, and we'll lose our reputation. If we go in and find her, everything will be fine.
Dylan and Samantha look at each other and sigh, knowing they have no choice. As they near the house, they start shaking, knowing they're just about to meet their greatest fear. They all look around the house as they enter, each one with worry in their eyes.
Okay, now what?
We'll never find her in here. The house is too big.
Right, let's split up.
What?
If we split up, we'll have a better and quicker chance at finding Rebecca. If one of us finds her, we will call one another to let the others know. Okay, I'll go upstairs. Dylan, you go over there. Looks like the dining room. Samantha, you stay here.
As Dylan entered the dining room, he spotted the chandelier hanging from the ceiling. He then noticed the fireplace, but what he saw above it made his eyes widen and jaw drop. The mirror Rebecca saw had been taken away, and a picture was in its place. In the picture was the same man in the red robe, and next to him was Dylan. Dylan screamed and tried to leave, but the alcove had mysteriously been blocked off by a door. Samantha, who was searching in the main hall, heard Dylan scream, which made her jump in fright. Thinking Dylan was playing a joke, she ignored him. After composing herself, she noticed the paintings by the stairway. It was the same paintings that Rebecca saw, only Rebecca had been removed from the paintings, and in her place was Samantha. Samantha screamed before finally fainting in fright. Gaz, who was now in the master bedroom, had heard Dylan's screams, but like Samantha, thought he was playing a joke. But when he heard Samantha's screams, Gaz knew something was wrong. Gaz had closed the door upon entering. He tried to open the door, but it wouldn't budge. Gaz then looked around the room trying to find a way out. He spotted the window and decided to climb to the outside. Then Gaz saw something in the window's reflection that made him shiver with fright. He then turned and gazed at what he saw. It was the same huge painting that Rebecca saw, and Gaz was shaking hands with the man in the red robe. Gaz looked at the painting in fright, as he knew it was him in the painting, and he knew who the man in the red robe was. The man in the red robe was the owner of the house. He was Victor Stone. Gaz ran to the window and tried to open it, but it was locked shut. He then ran to the door, but that too was locked shut. Gaz pounded on the door with his fists, yelling for help. But with Dylan in the dining room and Samantha in the main hall, no one can help him. No one can help any of them. Suddenly, they all hear the laughter, the same laughter that Rebecca heard. They all know that they are in trouble, and there is no way of getting out.